Okay, I'm live on YouTube and Facebook and not live on Twitch. I have like this multi-streaming console thing I've been playing with.
Restream?
Yeah. I've been thinking about using Yellow Duck to restream from Restream to Instagram, but the format has to be different, which is annoying. All right. So I'm going to build some printers. Hey, if there's anybody out there watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, click this link up there. Put that in your.
It's not clickable. You realize?
Oh yeah, well, okay. Retype it in your browser and come chat with us while I build printers. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some tools. Be right back. Guess I really only need a knife because this thing comes with tools.
Oh.
So I got 2 printers to build today and then 1 to fix. And then I'll have 21 in the farm up and running, which is good. It's getting quicker. What's Gary up to today?
Sounds like the post office.
Exciting days. I'm trying to build this on this table so that I don't have to move my entire computer, but this is not an optimal table for printer building. I just got a grease screw on my computer table. Not fun. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, damn. Now who's the pro Twitch streamer?
Yeah, exactly. I like to throw some color into my camera when I'm after dark.
Uh-huh. Dr. Ryan, after dark. Let's talk about photos.
Well, it's hard to get the exposure balance because my window always blows out the ambient light.
Uh-huh.
So as the sun sets, it sort of becomes a balancing act of like, I think, the real problem with the Twitch streamer style is that there's no color balance at all. It's just people putting fluorescent.
It's such a popular stream.
Yeah, I maybe have one person watching, but it's pretty fun.
Very good, sir.
Are you driving?
I was. I'm just parked in a lot waiting for my buddy to finish walking his dog.
Well, that was a fun call. Are you frozen or just not moving? Oh yeah, you're fine. Okay.
I'm at the big screen.
You're what?
You made me the big screen?
Yeah, because Chuck was here, and I was going to let him be, a medium-large screen along with you. The other day I had 3 webcams going, but what I don't have is like a boom arm to go over my computer or over my desk. However, fine. Okay.
Apparently there was a huge crowd at the tree lighting, or maybe not even the lighting, just it being open.
Cool.
Fucking morons. I'm fucking dumbfounded. Why would you even like show up to this with the best intentions and then decide I'm gonna stay?
Well, I mean, that's just un-American, Ryan.
Like I see a fucking crowded grocery store and I go home. Like I don't even this shit. How deprived are people of rich inner lives that they need to go and just consume shiny objects every
Yeah, but now that we're famous Twitch streamers, we never have to go outside. That's our privilege. Yeah, I've been thinking about starting a war on Christmas this year. It's kind of got a catchy title. Let's see. Internet. I've more or less started building these from memory, but we'll see how many extra pieces I get.
Interesting. This article claims that apparently the vaccine that has a 94.5 efficacy rate as of November 16th was developed on January 13th.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's why I started to read the article. But apparently they were able to synthesize the like genetic sequence within
I just hear Max
weeks.
snoring in the background right now.
Yeah, he's right behind me. But like they were able to synthesize the sequence within weeks of getting notification out of China that it existed. It just took 10 months to actually get it to the point where they could test it.
I see.
I haven't read this whole article yet, but they're basically saying it's the fastest timeline that we've ever developed a vaccine for anything, even considering a 10-month timeline.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
By running clinical trials simultaneously rather than sequentially, manufacturing the vaccine while testing and authorizing use under emergency use in December based on data that doesn't track long-term durability of protection or effect on transmission.
Man, I can't wait to get that sweet vaccine. Leave my house for once.
I don't know. I mean, the home life is kind of nice. We've been spending a lot of time kind of making the house more comfortable.
Uh-huh.
And we were already, trying to host people before. So once we get back to it, we're probably gonna end up being the place where we invite people to come to our house. So
I would like to go to your house.
well, you got to come to New York, but
Okay.
So I just changed around my my camera setup a little bit, and now what I have, instead of a live feed with the monitor on top, because it was kind of messing up the eye line,
Uh-huh.
I have the computer pushing the screen right, like the screen that I'm looking at from the computer is underneath the camera, but I'm not seeing myself in real time. I'm seeing the lag.
Yeah, you probably don't want to watch the stream, just like everybody else on the internet.
No, I'm not watching your public stream. I'm watching the meet stream, but because you're looping back my feed, like I pinned your screen
Uh-huh.
to the full screen of this monitor, but it's I could otherwise have both of them up, and then I'd be seeing myself in and out of sync side by side. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
So like usually I
I
have
know. Yes, I have them all up right now.
you're trying to complicate your desktop, and I'm trying to simplify it. So I've been like reducing the amount of objects on my desk, and
I've just been increasing the amount of monitors.
yeah, I'm trying to reduce those.
Yeah, more monitors is good, but I'm going to need some more video cards. Oh, God damn it.
You know what is even better than more monitors is this super widescreen monitor that has like a KVM switch in it, so you can actually do split screen for multiple inputs, and then you can actually program it so that you use one mouse and one keyboard, and you can transition across from desktop to desktop with one set of.
Cool. Yo, how much that monitor is?
It's about $1,000, and it's 49 inches across, and it's 32 by 9.
Yeah, I mean that was a good solution for me, except that it's $1,000. So I will pass.
I just bought a whole computer to do it, so.
Yeah.
It's just two 27-inch screens side by side.
No, I get it. But I have a lot of 27-inch screens for free. What I don't have is $1,000 for free. I want to spend that on more printers and lasers.
Fair enough.
Huh. I got a whole bunch of these printers that came with misadjusted bearing eccentrics. Spent a lot of time fixing them of late. Hey Ryan, do you still have YouTube up?
I mean, I'm looking at my computer. What?
Would you drop the link in the YouTube chat?
Oh, sure. What is your? Is this camera dactyl?
Yeah.
Multi-streaming.
Yeah, I guess we're on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, but I think the only place anybody is.
No, I get it now.
Should probably figure out how to stream through Yellow Duck to Instagram, because that's where the audience for this thing is. But I can't make like a separate broadcast screen to stream to Instagram, and the format is very different. So it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's tall.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's still not a clickable link, but.
Oh, Jason Lane says, "Yo, Ethan," and somebody I don't know says, "What cameras is Ethan building?" Hey, Jason, if you want to come chat, click the link here. Let's see if I can do it. I think I can simulcast to every channel, I believe. I am not building cameras right now. I am building printers to build scanners and then eventually build cameras. But for now, I got 2.5 printers to build today. If I can find pieces. How am I out of motor already? Oh, here we go. Yeah, your dog is sawing wood. It probably would be much more popular on the internet if you just did like the sleeping dog live stream.
You know, it's funny because I'm wearing noise canceling headphones, so I actually can't hear it as well as you can.
It picks up so well through the mic. Max sounds like an 800-pound man snoring next to me, like a 15-pound dog. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, geez. I think there's a way to stream music on Twitch that's not like a violation of the DMCA, but also then it deletes after you're done streaming on all recorded sessions. Not that anybody will watch this recorded, but maybe some people will come chill with us. Yeah, Ryan, you need a printer to build.
A what?
A printer to build.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, definitely. I spent 9 hours calibrating that laser the other day. Are you whistling?
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so annoying. It's right in my ear. It doesn't like come, yeah. It's like weird robot sounds and Max snoring in my noise canceling headphones. That's what I got. That's what I got for entertainment today. Put the printer aside. Time to build the gantry. I wonder if I should take care of that, putting this magnetic. Okay, so we've got Nico asks, what printer am I assembling? I am assembling Ender 3 Pro number 20, and I have 21 to do and like number 4 to fix. Jason Wayne can't find the link. I'm going to try. Let's see if I can drop it directly. Oh, I guess I can't post directly to Facebook, but Jason, if you check out this link over here in the top and just type it in again, or go to the YouTube or Twitch.
You realize that the link that you put in the chat is not the same as the one that you wrote on top of the video.
Hang on.
You wrote ABICHRYZIO, and then there's something else listed up at the top of the video.
Oh, okay. I'm going to fix this. We're going to get some people to come hang out with us. Let's see. Meeting details. Copy. Now, let's make sure that this is correct.
Okay, so it's the one you pasted is the correct one. The one that's in the video is incorrect.
I see. Sorry, guys. To all my one fan. Okay. Now, this thing is the correct one. Google or meet.google.com/AVI-CHRY-ZIO.
Yeah, that seems to be the one that we're in.
Yeah, now I am able to pass.
What you should do is, if you're going to do this all the time, is do like a link forwarding. That way that the link that people click is always the same, but you can change it behind the scenes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think though also I can keep a Google Meet open for a month, and then just use that one room. Okay, who do we have? Jason Lane. Hello, Jason.
Hey,
How you doing?
good. How you doing?
Good. Jason is my friend Ryan. He does nothing all day and often video chats with me while I'm building printers. What are you up to today?
I just got out of a day worth of meetings.
Are you making spaceship lenses?
Not those type of meetings, unfortunately.
Oh.
Well, a couple of them were technical, so that was fun. The rest was just the day-to-day bullshit. I mean, BS.
Sure, fine. He's calling me. Call from New York. Clearly spam. They call from the dealership. Hey, Jason, how many printers are you up to these days?
None. Well, so I actually just got a 3D CNC router.
Awesome.
We were so I got the whole shipment of dry plate holder parts in, and when I inventoried them, it was short the center plate for the 4x5 holders. There were a few, but not all I expected. So while we wait for the factory to make more, it got lost somewhere, either there or in transit, or maybe they're sitting at the bottom of one of the boxes. But we had to make some more. So we bought a cheap ass, probably very, very cheap CNC router just to crank some out.
Cool. Are you making them out of aluminum?
You what?
Are you making them out of aluminum?
No, we were trying to make them out of ABS, but ABS, you probably know, sucks them out. Actually got Delrin sheet, and the Delrin is worked out pretty well. So the next thing we got to figure out is how to glue stuff to the Delrin.
Yeah, Delrin is slippery by design.
Yeah, it's a low energy, what do they call it, low energy plastic, so it doesn't keep glue very well.
Yes.
But if you hit it with the right primer, then that seems to work. So
I wonder if you can use something like a solvent specific for Delrin, unless maybe you're bonding it to something else that is not dissolved by that solvent.
It's going to be bonded to ABS PC. So the injection molded parts are ABS PC. So.
Interesting. I have been really curious about Delrin because it's one of the things I'll be able to cut on this laser cutter that I got up and running this week. And I think it's going to be good for making gears, but making it into anything else presents all sorts of how do you connect it to things problems.
Well, so I'm really familiar with Delrin for work because we use it for that and OSTEM we use those for like wound barrels and stuff like that because it's very machinable. You can machine up to real tight tolerances.
Yeah, I've machined it a little bit for fun, and we use it for work for like every rail and every conveyor belt system is Delrin. But I've never made very complicated things out of it.
I think you'll have some good luck with it. So it's, if you, it's for traditional milling and lathe turning. Once you get your teeth and tool bits right, then the machine's really nice.
Yes.
So as far as attaching it to other stuff, I would say treat it as a lightweight metal. So if you need to attach it to something, use screws and bolts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or dovetails. I mean, you could treat it like a wood almost. You know how you dovetail joints together and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't mess around with dovetails. That just is asking for assembly issues. Fine woodworking is not what I like. It's fun for one-off, but just murder in production. But also maybe you make much fancier things than I do.
So I've been looking at machinable woods recently too. So the plate drying racks that I make, the second production run, I found a CNC shop in California that will make parts to the tolerances I needed. And it just came out really nice. So with that, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I could make not the dry plate holders, but like you know, if I wanted to make new sheet film holders, I wonder if I could make them out of wood and have them make the parts. So that's a project next year.
That's a cool idea. I like that a lot.
They had pretty good prices too. But yeah, the other thing, we had another part that needs to be machined. It's not a sheet that can be cut out. So you know, I feel like I'm Lando Calrissian when he's griping to Han Solo about, you know, trade disputes with labor, trade stuff like that. That's what I feel like when I'm worrying about production stuff.
Yeah. Why am I?
What have you been up to?
Well, I've been trying to build 140 mongooses, which has been interesting. It's just been like kind of all day, all night, every day, which is interspersed with like building another 20 printers, or not 20 printers, but at least 15 more printers. And I just, over here, I got a giant laser. And so, yeah, I haven't had very much of like that. I think you probably know this is like when you're designing a new product, right? Like the first day or two when it lives only on paper and in your head and anything is possible is really fun. But at the time when you've made, you know, all of your production prototypes and even a few production units and you have a few hundred to make, or maybe you are like probably too high up there now to actually have to do production. But, you know, I don't want to gripe about it. Like I am very lucky to be able to do this, but also it's just eaten my time for weeks now. It's just building the production capacity to make the mongooses quicker and making the mongooses. I think I'm almost on track, but there's a couple of small electronic parts that I can't buy, or I have bought, but I can't get them in quick. So I might be like a week or two late on the mongoose, depending upon when, like, I got all the capacitors, most of the, like, I'm waiting on a switch is one of the things, and it's like, it's just a toggle switch, right, but it happens to fit everywhere, and that's the FCC tested one. And so, like, there's a couple of parts that are holding me back, but I'm trying to build everything that I can as much as I can before they come in.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you with trying to ramp up the production of the dry plate holders. So it's been late nights and stuff. But I got 3 high schoolers working for me. One of them's actually down there coding plates right now, playing her ghetto trash rap, whatever she was, singing head off.
Is one of them your daughters?
No, it's a neighbor's. It's a friend of ours who lives up the street. It's their daughter. She started for me when she was 14.
Cool.
She's 17 now. Has been coding dry plates for a couple of years now.
Cool. I just got to the point where I can probably hire a teenager to like solder or trim parts, but because of COVID and lockdown, like no dice.
no, I got lucky. So like, there's a lot of engineering type families around here. So
Mm-hmm.
so the local high school is sort of STEM focused,
Uh-huh.
and so there's a fair number of technically, like the kids around here seem to have heads on their shoulders and like stuff. But
Yeah, I have one friend who is another maker and like contract engineer of sorts like me, and he's got a son who's, I don't know, 16 or something, and I would hire him in a heartbeat just knowing his dad, but like not right now. He's not allowed out of the house for the next couple of months. So
yeah. So we had to put it. Yeah, that sucks. So I actually when quarantine first hit, I said, okay, you can't come do work. So then I wasn't getting to sleep anymore and stuff. But I still try to pay basically sickly or sick time.
uh-huh. That's nice.
Yeah, it ended up being a tax write-off, but it was painful.
Yeah.
But then sales started picking up and stuff, and then we figured out a scheme that if they had quarantined like we were, and then they could come in and work. So it's playing by ear, and
Yeah.
it can be working out all right. If they go on travel or anything, I make them wait a couple weeks or
Uh-huh.
get tested, and then they can come back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I think, had I started doing this before quarantine, I could have taught this kid to at least just like sand and trim the mongoose pieces, of which I have half a month's worth of work, that I don't necessarily need to do. It's like, a kid is perfectly good at it. And I could have just, dropped a package on his porch and showed up 2 weeks later and gotten everything.
Right.
But I'm never going to let anybody else do the final assembly and check, and without like sitting there and watching him for a few hours and making sure that he's making everything the way I want it, just muscling through this one.
Yeah, so like the girls would coat plates and then pack them away in the drying box, and then they dry overnight. And so in the mornings, I'll go down there before I get started and for work and go pack them. So I get to inspect them.
Uh-huh.
So like you, I do the final sort of quality control.
Yeah, that is the important part.
Yeah, sometimes I can't get to it though. It just gets really busy, so I haven't let them pack.
Uh-huh.
So if one of the girls coats plates, then I let the other one pack them. That way I get the independent inspection.
That's smart.
Yeah, but then I've kind of been thrown a curveball because I'm going to be building dry plate holders here as well and ramping that up. And we're sort of scattered all over the place. So I'm looking to hire a couple more high school students.
Oh, that's great.
So if they got a head on their shoulders and they've got the right mentality for it, I found that they pick things up pretty quick. So when you do start looking for help, they seem to, like I said, pick up relatively complex tasks.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, I feel like I could have done my current job entirely when I was in high school. College was medium wasteful. On my part.
But the one thing I had to do is make sure that they, you got to keep your eye on them for the first week or two, just to make sure they do everything the same way every time. So that's where I get my consistency for the plates, right?
Okay.
But after that, they did just fine. So like Amelia has been coating plates for 2.5 years now, and she's got her own technique that I didn't teach her. So she adopted her own technique of coating plates. she will crank them out as faster, or if not faster than I do.
That's great. So I used to have some people helping me pack and ship boxes of cameras back in the day when I traded cameras. And like there were a couple little things like, okay, I got pretty good at packing a box. But then when you pay somebody who's medium smart to pack boxes all day, every day, day in and day out, like after a few weeks, they start teaching you how to pack boxes even faster. I, at some point, was using like rubber bands to make this tape gun wide enough to grab the tape. And then at some point, Steffi just like taped this thing with tape, and I've been using that system. You know, it's like a little thing, but I've been using that system for almost a decade now on all of my tape guns. It's pretty good.
I came across the, you'll see them for sale like on Uline, where they got the handle and they automatically dispense the paper, screen reinforced packing tape, and it pre-wets it and stuff.
Sure.
And so I've been using that, but packing can suck sometimes.
Yeah.
But I try to do all that because I'll do the final packing and shipping out, because if I need to shoot the customer like an email or something, you know, like folks who order plates down in like Singapore, anything like that, you know, I like to shoot them an email if I don't recognize them, and say, hey, you know, don't worry about the emulsive drilling or something or anything. You can use your tap water, which in places like that is more than, you know, the 68 Fahrenheit that, you know, standard 20. Their water is usually like 25 degrees. You know, so you can go ahead and develop it in that. So little comments and stuff. So I like to do that. Careful. Fine stuff.
That's very nice. I just let people get
like the front for the company.
So.
You know,
yeah, I spend a lot of time. Yeah, I spend a lot of time answering people's questions, but you know, I'm up to maybe half an hour a day on average answering questions, taking custom orders and things like that. And so I have not started sending people custom emails, but they should get a Squarespace email, just like giving them the tracking and whatnot, just so people know. Still, once in a while, I get a message like, "Hey, has my thing shipped?" And I look and like it gets stuck in a spam filter somewhere somehow.
Yeah, I'm always all throughout the day. I'm usually fielding questions. People will come across the dry plates and ask questions about development and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, so usually I'll try to answer those. Sometimes I'll say, "Go look at the website." I put all that stuff there. You know.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I like the go look at the website answer is a nice one.
Or I'll get custom orders. People want custom size plates. So I just I've got them packed. I'm waiting for shipping materials. So we just coated 4 16-inch by 20-inch dry plates.
Cool.
Huge thing. And what's cool is that it was a team effort. So me and the girls who code, all three of us were working together to code them. And I know at least Amelia, she said I mentioned like 3 days before. She said she was like, I've been excited for the last 2 days to cook these big plates. So it's kind of cool to see the teenagers getting out on this stuff.
Yeah. Do they ever shoot dry plates?
No.
No.
So in fact,
they got iPhones.
In fact, I had Gary Sampson down a while back, and he wanted to. He brought his camera with, so he was like, "Can I take pictures and stuff?" Or I gave him the nickel tour. This must have been pre-COVID. So he was down there and he was watching Amelia code him, and he's like, "So Amelia, are you into photography?" She's like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He just likes the money.
Yeah.
Like, no, I like doing this stuff too, but yeah, no, she doesn't bet she'll get into it when she gets older. But,
Yeah, I had a friend who worked for me for a while. She was very smart, and I gave her a camera, just some old Nikon, because she spent all day packing and shipping and listing old Nikons, right? I thought she might get into it. Yeah. I think she shot half a roll of film the entire time she worked for me. Not into it. Yeah. We were friends though, but not based on cameras.
There's another friend of ours whose kid is into photography, and she has a head on her shoulders. It's like the one thing about hiring high schoolers is that they get good at their job, and then they're getting ready to graduate.
Yep.
So always looking at turnover. And the other neighbor's daughter, she's all excited about the idea of working here, but apparently she needs to get her grades up a little bit.
Oh yeah. That's reasonable. Well, so I have now built this guy. I want to turn it on, but also I am out of Capricorn tubing, and I'm going to melt the tubing that came with it if I just run PET-G in it, which is unfortunate. It's an oversight on my part. This is like when I have 2 printers that are now going to be down for the next 4 days while something comes from Amazon for lack of a $10 part. Really, there's no brick and mortar retail you can buy Capricorn tubing at,
Right.
Jason, you working on any new camera-related projects?
I recently got a bunch of. I found a source for smooth black glass, sheet, and I put together a pre-order for wet plate shooters so they could do ambrotype.
Cool.
And so I just sent the last of that shipment off to the pre-order folks. And I have some left over. The reason I wanted was because I found that if I coated a black glass with my emulsion and then developed it in famous formats, #1 monobath, which has a heavy ammonia content to it, it actually tones the silver grain a light color, and you basically get to develop it into a positive.
Oh,
it's like
cool.
a dry plate ambrotype, sort of a hybrid process, and that was actually a historical process back in the 1880s. And
yeah, so, that sounds like it's going to be a winner of a product.
Yeah, and let me see. Give me a second. I'll get an example here.
Yeah, Ryan, a little backstory, if you're there. Jason is another camera maker in the community. He is a optical engineer and makes space telescope lenses and such, but has a business making dry plates and other things in New Hampshire. Oh, whoa.
I don't know if you can see it. The compression's pretty.
Yeah, your webcam is terrible, but also super cool. The silver looks white.
Yeah. So, hold still.
Yeah, I'll let the compression catch up.
I burned through it. So yeah, so I've been playing with those, and I don't have a lot of black glass left, but I have enough to get some boxes out to people so they can play with it, and it's play experimental, and I don't have the details nailed down yet, and I tell people that, but it's been generating a lot of interest. So that's gonna come down the pipe. I'll get more into that. So it's like on a limited run basis now, but I'll get more into that when I get to a second shipment of black glass in. The other thing is that I found a U.S. supplier of my glass blanks. So
cool.
My glass and my dry plates will all be made in the USA now. Nice.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you did not have a glazier do that before. I mean,
what?
I'm surprised that you didn't have a glazier to make the glass blanks before.
Yeah, well, I was set up and I was initially cutting them from larger sheets, and then I found a Chinese supplier of glass and was getting that shipped in. That's what I did for the past couple of years, but with shipment and fees and all that good stuff, I found a U.S. supplier that was able to hit my price point. So now
That's great.
I've been getting blanks for a couple of years now. So I didn't have to cut the common sizes.
Yeah, I mean, like, particularly now, shipping is really painful when you're waiting on Chinese components. Like, almost everything in my shop has come from China at one point or another, but, like, even if I can buy it from somebody who's shipping it from the U.S., it's going to save me, 2 or 3 months. But some things are, just not purchasable here.
Well, that and the vendors speak English, so that makes it easier.
Most of my Chinese vendors speak English, probably better than I do. Yeah, but and there's some Chinese vendors that I have that are really fast. So, like, I don't know if you ever use JLC PCB, but I can get a circuit board produced and landed in 5 days. Like, I send them the files, and 5 days later, it is at my door for $18 in shipping. It's really amazing. But then other times, I've been waiting on these LEDs for almost a month, and they're like, I don't know, 1/10 of a gram worth of LEDs coming in the mail. Really kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh. Well, my glass gets all shipped by boat, but I've actually had pretty good luck with the glass vendors, but other stuff, especially getting the plate holders made, that was a challenge. But in any case, so that getting the suppliers, part of my supply base, I've been focused on that, ramping up production for the holders. I've got being the lens designer I am, I've got a project related to that coming up next year. I figured it would be time to make a lens for the photography world.
Are we going to be competing ultra-large format lens designers?
No, I'm gonna be smart about it and try to bite off the biggest chunk of the market. So digital shooters are going to take precedence.
I see. Yeah, I can't make lenses high quality enough, but I can make them big.
So that'll be it just makes good business sense. And if that's successful, then I'll get cash flow from that, and then I can start making lenses for large format shooters. So that's that idea.
Yeah, I've been working on a lens to cover 16 by 20, but actually the optics fairly simple. The shutter is annoying, but now that I have this laser, for a year, well, more than a year, for years I've been using the Makerspace laser, which is cool, but like once you start dealing with mechanisms with like small tolerances, you really need to cut, assemble, until everything is right. And I can't really assemble down there. And so between every cut and assembly, I have an hour's worth of driving. And so, like, I don't know, doing mechanisms outside of my shop like that was really, it was just not going to happen. But I have a couple of iris and shutter, like kind of a Copal style shutter with 3 speeds that's maybe that big. But, it's going to sell to like 3 people in the world because who shoots 16 by 20 anymore? But I can't help myself.
It'd be kind of, if you're looking at shutter and iris designs, I might have to talk to you at some point about that. Because we would need those for lenses regardless of the size. So if you could make components that accurate, then
yeah, I mean, they're like only going to go up to 125th of a second type of thing, but reasonable.
Even like the shutter blades. So
Mm-hmm.
like for our lens that we're working on, and I've got a mechanical engineer who's helping out grow the business. So he's a business partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got optics design, of course, and then mechanics design.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, the deal with lenses for me is like, none of the engineering part of it is particularly difficult in theory. It's all whether or not you can manufacture it. Oh, look who this is.
Oh, don't let that guy in.
Yeah, it's already too late.
It's too late.
Here is the terror himself, Simon Forster. Okay, well, maybe not.
He's muted.
Yeah, Simon, you're muted and your camera sucks. Get with it, buddy.
Better now. I plugged the microphone in.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that
Hey,
does
Simon,
the job. Yeah.
I believe you know
No
Jason Lane from the United States of
Yes.
America and Ryan Muir from Canada. I don't think you guys know each other.
No. Hello, Ryan.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well.
Simon is
Jason, shouldn't you? I was going to say, Jason, shouldn't you be working at the moment? You look very chilled.
I'm off the clock. I'm relaxing before dinner.
Oh, okay.
Jason's got the high school kids working for him.
I'll start working again. I can't do much down in the basement because Amelia is overcoating plates. So the lights are off downstairs in Victoria Graphica Worldwide Galactic corporate headquarters.
Excellent. So is that a new ender you're building there?
Yeah, this is my second ender to build for the day. When I finish it, I'm going to fix a bunch of, well, actually I only have one ender that's down right now, although I'm out of Capricorn tubing, so these guys will have to wait a few days, but yes.
Yeah. I always have trouble getting the x-axis level. It just takes me way too long.
I'm going to show you my trick for that when we're done, but they come crooked as a damn corkscrew, and so there's 12 bolts you loosen, and then you put it on a flat desk, push it down, and then tighten them in a star pattern, kind of like a lug nuts on a wheel. You can get it pretty flat pretty easily.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So this is I don't know, in this month this might be the 12th ender that I've built, and I've rebuilt a couple as well. So I've come up with systems for some things. I've gotten some real wonky stuff. A lot of the eccentrics on the bearings on these rails come like way off, but so far we're going together in 45 minutes to an hour, depending upon who I'm talking to and when.
Yeah, I see. Jason's got one of the latest secret products that we've got.
Yeah, this is a PLA one. I've been playing with this all day while I was working. It came out pretty nice, Simon. I like it.
It's much nicer in PLA.
Yeah, I mean they're both good, but it's like if you had to choose.
Wait, what was that frame, Jason?
This is I was talking to Simon about how it'd be nice to hold a 4x5 plate or a dry plate on a flatbed scanner. So we were talking about these. So he pinned one up for dry plates. So
cool.
Yeah, the idea is that a little work plan. The idea is that you can lay this down on the flatbed and then lay the dry plate on there, and it'll hold the emulsion layer and have proper focus for a good scan.
Yeah, I sell those for Polaroids.
Yeah. So I have been laying them down with the emulsion, face down against the platen, and that's okay, but glass. And, you know, when the emulsion layer is really smooth, then it sets up new grain stuff. So this would be better. This would be nicer if it's like work.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey Simon, what's up with your video?
I just haven't got. I couldn't find my cable to plug the camera in. It's simple as that. I don't actually own a webcam, so
right.
I use a computer, a proper camera, and then run it through about 4 pieces of software to eventually get it to work. My place is just a complete mess, and I just need to tidy up. I can't find anything at the moment because I'm still not in my business unit yet. So I have no space. Everything just gets put on the floor and gets lost.
Hey Ryan and Jason, just so you know, business unit means like a rental business space, not innuendo for those Americans in the room.
Yeah.
Simon, when are you going to get in there?
When my excellent, well-priced but incredibly unreliable joiner fix my worktops or countertops, as how you say it.
Yep.
So it's just no point. But I mean, I want to get in there and I want to get the ventilation done at the same time. Otherwise, there's just no point in me being in there. Because I can choke in my own house, or I can choke in the workshop. You know, so I may as well stay here and do it. At least I'm more comfortable.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. So we're getting there. Actually, Ethan, I'm seriously getting more interested in doing ABS. And
just try PETG first. I think.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's as much for Steve Lloyd as anything, because Steve's using 3D hubs to get his ABS that he wants to use ABS on his Carbon Adventure, which is fair enough, and I could supply that. And,
I mean, just make sure that the thing is in a bubble.
You're sorry?
Just make sure that you're printing it in a bubble and you're venting it. And
that's right. Well, I've got hold of a few Creality enclosures,
cool.
So that's pretty much what I'm looking at doing, and getting some ventilation out the back of them, and so on and so on. But I don't particularly like the idea of enclosing the whole printer in the enclosure, because ultimately you're going to be raising the temperature for the electronics, aren't you? And that's
I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, we're talking
it's just
80 to 100 C. They're fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're probably right.
Yeah. You're going to burn out the electronics for other reasons way before. I mean, if you have some simple enclosure method that does not encapsulate the main board, cool. But like on the new Enders, the Pros, they just put the fan on the bottom where there's no circulation anyway. Like, they don't care. They're all fine. They're very robust.
Yeah, but this is the reason why I'm sort of getting more and more interested in going for one that's actually just a proper enclosed printer. And it's just the actual printing area that's enclosed effectively, and the rest of it is looked after properly.
You might want a very high wattage power supply that has like its own solid state MOSFET or transistor going to the bed, right? Because it's going to take a lot of heat to keep the bed, to keep the item from warping off the bed. So it's going to take a lot of current. You know, the heat bed is way more than the nozzle when you're keeping it at like 100 degrees C or something.
Yeah. So what's I know you only like to have cheap printers or make your own, but if for instance you decided to like go to the next level, what is the next level in your opinion?
So I mean, I have a $1,000 Pressa and a $400 clone of it that works just as well, but took me 8 hours to build. And I really like those, but they're not good farming printers because when they go down, I mean, you have a presser, right? Like if you've ever rebuilt the head, it's you could spend 3 hours rebuilding the extruder, whereas like the Ender, you can rip apart and put back together really quickly.
Yeah.
So, and you know, the Prusa is a faster printer, and it prints sometimes, if you are not optimized, a little bit better, and it jams less frequently. However, it's not that much faster, and it doesn't jam that infrequently. So, you know, I think I would be really into a multi-material printer to print less like different colors than soluble supports would be really cool.
Yes.
You can get some really nice stuff like that. I think you can make some complicated things, and then, you know, like the Bronco pan, I think if I had soluble supports, I could probably, you know, within a year figure out how to print the whole damn thing, drop it in a bucket of water, and then have everything move. But, you know, still you might need to get in and sand some things. The other thing is like larger resin printers I'm interested in, but, you know, not for making anything that I'm making now, but there's, you know, a whole host of projects that I'm interested in making, like, you know, very high precision parts for. But the problem with that is I've got to figure out some, you know, material science questions, like what mixes of resins are going to give me a good balance for durability and strength, or durability and hardness. I don't know the answer to that yet. So yeah, I don't know. How about you?
Well, I'm struggling. There's something called a Da Vinci. No, what was it XYZ or XYZ printing Da Vinci Super, which looks pretty good, but it's I don't know. You just get this feeling, you know, you can pay a lot of money out and not actually get any real benefit for it.
Yeah. So I mean,
but sometimes you can, you know.
In terms of like print quality, I don't think the Prusa has nothing lacking, right? But just in what it, like, I don't think I would get any higher resolution. Like, I'm limited by the nozzle size, and yes, I can use a smaller nozzle and get slightly better resolution, but also, you know, I would pay out the nose in terms of print times. But yeah, I think until multi-material, like, I don't see why I would spend anything more than a Prusa.
Yeah.
But, you know, that being said, like, for farming purposes, most things in a try or 2 or 5 tries, you can figure out like a good G-code production file for the Ender, and then you can have infinite Enders pretty cheap.
Yeah. But yeah, multi-material is interesting. I mean, I've looked at the MMU2 for Prusa, but it looks as though that the purge towers. The time it takes it seems like it takes more than twice as long to actually print something if you've got
if I wanted
changes.
Multi-material, I would want 2 extruders, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with, like, I'm not trying to make multicolored prints where it's you know, swapping the filament in one nozzle over and over with a purge tower. That seems crazy.
Yeah.
But I would love it if a second head came in and printed ivory soap, and then, you know, soap the bearings, and then I could just melt it away later on.
Hey Simon.
Yeah.
I talked to Nick after his podcast interview. That was awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm getting you back someday, buddy.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, is Nick.
Hey, let's take a quick question from the audience, guys, which is, Colin Gore says he happens to be in material sciences. Anyone got favorite filament sources for matte and opaque properties? Jason, Simon?
Opaque. I know that the Ender brand. By the way, I also noticed that if you're actually on the meet and then you go to the Facebook is lagging quite a long way behind the actual meet.
Yeah, so I'm using Restream.io, so it's simulcasting very slowly.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I'm not actually on the Facebook page now, because it just I get both feeds through at the same time.
Yeah,
yeah. So I can't really see the Facebook page, but no, and Creality do an Ender PLA in black, which is usually excellent, and it can be opaque at 0.2 if you're lucky. The only problem is, though, they seem to change suppliers, so you don't really know from one to another whether or not you're actually going to get that same level of opaqueness. But that's pretty good. As far as matte is concerned, in the if you're in Europe, Amazon do something. There's a brand on Amazon called Digital Rise. They don't make it, but it's just a brand. But they do a great matte black PLA. I use that a lot, and I believe it's made by an Austrian company called Extruder. That's Extruder spelt without the E. Like Flickr is without the E. So yeah, they're my tips. But if you're in the US, I haven't got a clue because I don't think they're really particularly available in the US.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of those. I've never heard of Creality filaments, but I like this as eSun PLA or PLA Plus. Actually, I don't think the Plus is worth the extra money if you can get the regular PLA in black, but sometimes you can only get one or the other. Both eSun PLA or PLA Plus in black is really good. I print a lot of camera bodies with it. I also really dig PETG right now, although you gotta, mix some things up for your printers. And I think opacity is like, it's a relative concept. Jason could probably talk about this at length, but like, yeah, the thickness.
If you need true opaqueness, the rule of thumb is that you want, I want to say at least 10% carbon pigment for black. And typical is 3%. And it can be hard to find it. My problem is making sure the injection molder uses the right plastic. So that's what I call out for my plastic parts.
So one thing that I have noticed is black filament of any type, because of that carbon pigment, as opposed to a dye, is the worst, jammiest filament to print. Like black is the most difficult color always to print in these printers, whereas like some of like the matte cellular stuff is really nice.
So I said carbon pigment, but that may count for dye too. What you could do is you could test print a layer of 50,000 thick, and then shoot a blue laser to it. So if you get a cheap fast blue laser diode pen off the keycase, use that as a test, and if you can't see it through that layer, then you're probably going to be okay.
Okay, Simon, let me show you. Let's take a quick break for this lesson in leveling for Simon. So these guys always come, crooked and terrible. I'm going to do it once on here, and then I might do it on the floor because this table is, it's flat and metal, but it's a little flexy. There's 12 screws. So there's these 2 screws up at the top on either side, so that's 4. And then there's 4 down here that connect the gantry frame to the feet. And I loosen all of them. If you want to go crazy, you could start loosening these 2 that also connect the gantry frame, but generally if you seat these nicely, you won't have to go that far. So just, crack them all maybe 3/4 of a turn to a full turn, depending upon how tight they are from the factory. And then you get a real wiggle printer, which is not ideal. So luckily, this doesn't super matter because there's only one sliding rail for the y-axis. Here I'm just going to do these back here. I think you probably know which screws I'm talking about, Simon.
Yeah.
So almost all done.
By the way, if I haven't said already, the Ender 3 version 2, I really like that printer.
Yeah, these are all pros, which I think are about the same mechanically, but with a simpler interface.
They've just got the they've got the new main boards in there as well, and it's more silent in more ways, but it's just a really nice printer. Okay,
so now you have this wiggly ass printer, and then I just start going around and snugging everything down first while it's, you know, this is best done on a 3,000-pound machinist's table that's made out of granite, but, you know, square metal table is good, a concrete floor is good, you know, and I just keep like a little bit of pressure on the gantry as I'm tightening these things up. So I'll snug these guys down, and then I'll do like 2 on these side in a diagonal pattern. Check for any wobbles. Pretty good so far. And sometimes you'll tighten the last screw and it'll start rocking again, which then you just got to start again. Yep. I got 2 snug, 3 snug, 4 snug. Feel pretty good, not rocking. Yeah, I built like 4 of these the other day and then realized they were all like just like a ship on the ocean. This is no good. I have no idea why in the assembly in the Creality plant they don't just put them on a flat table. It boggles my mind, but yeah, that's what you got to do. But it's really, really simple. This is a totally square printer now, within, you know, how square it's supposed to be. But, you know, perfect for anything that I'm doing. So yeah, no more rocking other than flex. That's it.
That wasn't actually the bit that I had the trouble with, by the way.
Oh, what did you have trouble with?
Leveling the x-axis.
This.
Yeah.
This guy. I mean, that's self-leveling.
The horizontal axis that the hot end travels along.
Yeah, that's a self-leveling axis. Well, I don't understand. There's only like.
No,
yeah.
I mean, put it this way: the V2 that I bought locally, it was 3 millimeters out from one side to the other.
How did you adjust it?
Probably doing you got the eccentric screw and then bolts, and then you got 2 more bolts. So you got 6 bolts, 3 on either side, and I measure, use a steel rule from the not from the bed, but from the one of the extrusions, the horizontal extrusions to the axis itself, and then I adjust them. Eventually, get them right. But my Ender 3 Pro, my first one, it took me about 2 weeks before I actually realised that was the problem with it. And then when I got that leveled, and it prints like a trooper ever since.
Cool. Yeah, it's I've had printers go down for like 2 months before I figured out what was going on with them. Very painful. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, I did not answer your actual question. I have gotten a lot of.
It's interesting that you're not really picking it up as an issue. That I find that really interesting.
No, I've never had that issue. I have had eccentrics that are way out of adjustment, like the rails seem to have detents, like they'll click into positions as the wheel goes around on the eccentric, But it takes a few minutes to adjust, and then they're fine.
The other thing that's consistent with all three enders that I've set up is I've had to adjust the E-steps on them because they all under extrude.
Interesting.
They by default they're set at 93, and I found that mine are set up somewhere between 96 and 97, having done put 120 mil through them and measured actually physically how much they were extruding through it.
Interesting. So I have not had that problem with PLA. I have had that problem with PET-G, but that's generally like a temperature issue. Are these original Enders or Ender Pros?
Pros. Well, 2 Pros and an Ender V2.
I see. The original Ender gave me insane under extrusion problems for months, but it just turned out to be a crappy extruder spring and jaws.
Yeah. I guess it's also down to what you're actually printing, and when I'm printing lens caps, the inside base of it, if you like, I print a pattern on there, and it's a very delicate pattern, and that's where it tends to show up if that x-axis is out of alignment, and also if it's not extruding properly, because it should give you a really nice gloss finish if you get it right. But if it's under extruded or the axis isn't perfect, it'll do it, and it's sort of okay, but it's not great. And that's how I've worked out how to solve that problem.
Interesting. Now, just because we had this conversation, right, one of these 2 Enders that I'm building is going to show that problem. But luckily I have the solution, so maybe Murphy's Law will protect me.
Yeah. Well, just get I'm sure you've got a steel rule, but just measure from one of the horizontal, the top of one of the horizontal legs of the frame to a set point on the x-axis, and check to the millimeter.
Yeah, so I actually just bought a really cheap, like very long caliper, and I've been checking like everything that comes off of the printers for dimensions. So I have like a little sheet of known dimensions, which has been great. Let's see. Push this down a little bit more.
What are you measuring it from? Have you brought it down now? Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
I find this easier to do with a steel rule than one of those. But
so this one is off by 0.5 millimeter side to side.
I'd live with that. That wouldn't worry me.
Yeah, does not. I will level the bed based on the x-axis anyway.
Yeah.
What else am I supposed to do on this printer now? Oh yeah, but I've stopped using the manuals because this is like the 12th I've built this month. But then I miss things like don't put the Z-stop in. Jason, what are you building?
So I got a 5x7 2D in for real cheap. And I noticed that the rear standard has a lot of slots in it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a lot of play in it. And I was just looking at this. I noticed the other day that the play is basically a function of the width of the slot that the runner rides in. And those runners, I don't know if you can see this, but they actually come out. So I just figured out that I can adjust that playout by replacing this wooden insert with a different seeing a different part. So it basically acts like a shim. Take that playout. So I was just looking at that.
Is that a Kodak? Is that a Kodak Specialist?
It's a Kodak 2D. It's hold on one second. Yeah. Yeah. Did you stir it in? Find out. And it's stir. Yeah, I got it. All right, we'll do it on the next one. It's a Kodak 2D. So it's probably dates from the 1930s, 1940s.
Yeah, so I've got a British made Kodak Specialist, as it's called over here. It's a half plate camera.
On the British version, don't you have to make sure that it points towards the left instead of towards the right?
That's right. Yeah.
Are you guys making that up, or is that a real thing? Because the U.S. version was 5x7, but the British version was 7x5.
5? Yeah.
Just something like
you
that.
got to mount it sideways.
Like I say, mine's half plate rather than 7x5, 5x7. But when I bought it, I was hoping it was a 7x5, and then with a 4x5 reducing back, and it just turned out to be half plate with a 2x3 reducing back. And I thought, I've lost there, but never mind. I need to make a frame for an insert or a reducer. That's what it is, a reducer to get it down to 4x5. But it's a lovely piece of kit. It's just so heavy.
Yeah.
So I have an 8x10 version of this, which actually has the Navy contract label on it, and so that's my workhorse 8x10. And then I have a Century #1, which is the predecessor. So made by Century before Kodak bought them in a whole plate format. So, and that camera I got new bellows made by the bellows company in the UK.
Yeah.
So they all work the same. They don't have the swap that this one does. So I was just looking to see how to fix it. And I think I know how. Oh, cool. I did get another 4x5 to augment my workhorse speed graphic. I got a Takihara.
Oh, those are great. I am a real big fan of Takihara cameras.
And at about the same time when I was looking for a lens for it, I found a nice 150mm bigor lens. Really cheap. So now I'm all fancy. So.
Right, guys, I'm gonna have to call it a day. It's 11 o'clock at night now. It's too late for me to be talking on the microphone.
Are you kidding, Simon? I still got another printer to fix.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm happy to keep on going, but I have to think of others, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to head out because it's getting to be dinner time here. So.
All right, thanks for hanging out, guys. This has been fun. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, have fun.
All right. See you both.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, if there's anybody watching, you can use this link, or let's see. Oh, Nicole Small, maybe you're there. Come build printers. Graham Burnett. Yeah, I hear you can turn 5x7 into 7x5 by cutting 2 inches off one side and taping it to the other. That is correct. Probably just about nobody out there. I'm going to keep building printers after a quick intermission. If you want to come chat, come chat. I got some more printers to build and fix. Okay, be right back. Test, test. 1, 2. All right, so this link here is where you can come talk to me while I fix printers. Check some prints. Some spindles. Good. Okay. Clean up my workspace a little bit. Yeah. Tools in one bag. Time is it? It's almost quitting time. Quiet, isn't it? Says Francois. Yo, Francois, come join my chat. Let's talk cameras. You are the craziest camera builder I know, in a good way. Just sitting here talking to myself, sorting spare parts and nozzles. I do not run out of Allen keys ever, Francois. I keep a bunch on magnets on the printer racks. They're always accessible. We got a lot of Allen keys and scrapers, spare nuts and bolts. I got about as many little plastic baggies as a drug dealer. I've been saving most of them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Oops. Okay. Nuts and bolts. Spare cards. Oh, who do we have? Francois Laverdure. Admit. Hey, Francois. How you doing?
Hi, Ethan. So, what's up?
Oh, building printers, fixing printers.
Yeah, ain't got no camera, ain't got no webcam tonight.
Oh,
I'm
no.
already setting up pieces for my soon to come.
Francois, you got to kill the stream on your side and just talk to me on Google Hangouts.
Oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just killed the YouTube side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was giving weird feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube's
So still
delay.
at it building printers.
Yeah. So now I have built every printer that I'm going to build, but I still need to fix this printer that I broke last week and have been waiting for XT60 connectors and 24-volt fans. But you know, by an hour from now, I will have 21 printers up and running.
At least it didn't catch on fire.
Yeah, not yet. More likely the lasers will catch things on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've seen some pictures when you go to 3D printer fails on Google. You look at some stuff and you go, I don't think that's such a good idea. So
yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's here it's pretty darn quiet with the quarantine and everything, and you know, trying to stay out of trouble, like a friend says. So Yeah.
That sounds medium fun. Have you been building cameras?
Well, I fixed one. I had the 4x5 that I built for. Hold on, it's using a Polaroid lens. You know, like one of those color packs.
Sure.
And I wasn't happy with the way the back was holding on to the thing with the four butterfly screws and springs, and so I just replaced the whole shebang with 4 screws and rubber bands. So,
Okay.
well, it holds better actually. So,
I bet.
and you can find plenty of them on the street where they got mail routes. So,
Interesting.
you know, the mailman just chuck them on the ground and.
Hey, hang on one second. I gotta give something to my friend Doug. Hey, Doug. Good. You want to come pick up that PC? I mean, it might need hard drive cages, right? It's got, let's see, 2 drive bays. One is empty. One is with a DVD-ROM drive, and then it probably has internally. I haven't opened it up in a year, but a internal like hard drive mount that's not in like a normal slide-in bay. It is not ideal, right? Like you want a 1U rack that'll take 4 hard drives. Yeah, I mean, like if you have the brackets, you could definitely mount. Say, I mean, it's like a big tower case for an old Dell. It's just not set up currently for that purpose. All right, if you wanted it to, and working. If you want it, it's here. I'm just home and working. So, well, give me a call if you decide you want it. I'm here over by San Mateo and Zuni all day, every day. All right. Good luck. All right. Bye. Hey, Francois. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Computer problems.
My friend Doug wanted he was looking for a 6 hard drive enclosure for some RAID array, and I said I did not have that, but I did have an old computer he could have if he was crazy enough to want it, and so he called me about it, but I don't. You would have to make some brackets or find some brackets to mount enough hard drives in the case, so you know.
Yeah.
Usual.
Oh yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, one of those old Dell things or something.
Yeah, exactly. I bought out a camera store half a decade ago, and I got all of their Dell cash register machines, and so I still have 5 of them sitting around.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they were like not worth shipping, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes you should see the number of old computers I got around here, and eventually, when they're too old, I just turn them into Linux boxes, and
yes, I've done that to a few, for sure.
Yeah, like I got last one I got is a little I've had for years one of those little Acer netbooks, you know, like the 8-inch screen laptops.
Yep.
And recently I took one and I installed the new distro called MX Linux, and it's pretty darn good actually, and for running on old hardware like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called, and I stopped on this one, well, because the power just isn't there. I'm using another web browser called Falcon. And yeah, with that thing, it runs at least decent speedy. So yeah. Right now I'm out of a webcam because I refurbished mine for I'm preparing to get the 3D printer for Christmas. So that means
Francois, do you have a mirrorless camera or digital SLR that will shoot video?
No, actually, I'm talking about the crappy webcam I had for the other podcast
Uh-huh.
for the convention.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So now it's going on a Raspberry Pi that's running Octopi.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
two Octopi machines currently floating around here. But I've started using $13 HDMI capture cards. So like this camera you're looking at from me is a Sony mirrorless that I bought for $200. That like, it looks medium cinema quality so far as webcams go. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, $200 in the States probably means 400 around here. So
yes, that's probably true.
yeah, because when you said that those printers you got, you paid what, 175 for them?
Yep, 172.
Yeah.
I think.
172. The cheapest I could get here was 325.
Wow,
Canadian.
That's
Yeah, I know. It's probably the only bad thing about living in Canada is that stuff's expensive.
Yeah, but you have health care.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got health care and we're happy for it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Rub it in, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, before we haven't always had health care here in Canada, and it was one of the prime ministers we had, the federal prime minister. He said this makes absolutely no sense, and so he forced all the provinces to put the healthcare systems on.
Oh, that's great.
Lots of people were not happy about this, but it was like over 40 years ago, and now it's like, part of the landscape, and
Sure.
and everybody's happy for it. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
I'll see if I can make
the unpopular decision that turns out to be good. So
yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Actually, that prime minister got an airport named after him. So
which prime minister?
it was Pearson.
Oh, I don't know that one. Or that airport.
Yeah. Yeah, they named Toronto's airport after him. So.
Oh, I've flown in and out of Toronto before. Yeah,
Yep.
I did not. But Toronto has 3 airports, right?
Well, all the international stuff goes through Pearson. So.
I see.
And they got downtown Toronto Airport, I think it's called. They got
the one on the island, right?
Yeah, that's the small one.
I flew from there to Quebec City once out of the island. You take like a little ferry over. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite airports.
Quebec City in the winter?
No, it was the fall. It was very beautiful.
Fall. Yeah. Wise decision, or else you would have frozen like you've never frozen in your life.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Non, j'ai pas ma caméra, mais. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's even by Montrealer standards, Quebec City is cold.
Hmm.
Yep. It's one of those things, so.
Yeah. That is intense.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because lots of people joke about Quebec City. Like, they say that during the winter, if there's some ice on the ground, you can just slide down to work, and when you want to get back up to get back home, well, the wind will push you uphill.
That's great.
Stuff like that. Yeah, or when you go meet friends in October, you can tell them, well, I told you your lilacs would one day bloom, or stuff like that,
That sounds like a very French expression.
Yeah. Well, when it's too cold at one place,
I see.
Kinda.
I see.
Have to find some fun in it, so.
Yeah. Are you a snow sports guy?
Nope. No. And red hair and white skin freeze easily.
Yeah, man, and burn. I've been dealing with
And
that my whole
burn.
life.
Yeah, I think you know a little bit about burning, so
Yes, I'm neither cut out for the desert nor really anywhere. I'm an avid indoorsman.
yeah, yeah. Because I've been to Florida once in my life, and when I came back, I probably would have been a good advertisement for Red Lobster.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that a few times in Florida.
Yeah, yeah. The sun is treacherous there. It's like, ugh, you know.
Yeah, yeah, gotten burned quite a few times there. Um, I lived in Louisiana for a little while. My grandparents used to live in Florida, but really, what's been getting me is the desert, where we're a mile up and there's no atmosphere to protect you.
Yeah,
I started wearing
yeah,
like coats to go out in the summer when it's 110 degrees, just just to stay out of the sun.
yeah. I got a big hat collection, so
Yeah, yeah. My girlfriend and I call it our Steve Irwin hats.
yeah,
We never wore hats
yeah.
before we moved here.
Yeah, I got two Tillys, and I got one which is almost sombrero sized, so you know, that's
Pretty
kind of
good.
good. So
Yeah,
it's been
sounds
my
like.
favorite for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bonus to having a wide rim on a hat like that. It's a free lens shade.
Okay.
Well, and free lens shade, and if you need to use a hat as a shutter, well, it's big enough for that too. So
That's true. I have a lot of hat shutters and bootleg cameras for sure.
yeah. Oh well. Yeah, I was just before joining the thing. I stumbled onto the Georgie Eastman House YouTube channel.
Oh wow, that's got to be way more entertaining than me.
Yeah, well, you can't talk to people, like,
That's true.
but it was quite interesting. They were looking at some old film and old, mostly film exposure meters, like the old technology that nobody usually cares about. So
Hmm.
it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to figure out a way to build myself an extinction meter. So,
Wait,
oh
what
boy,
do you mean extension meter?
extinction. It's well, really old school. Before it's a mechanical, up to mechanical meter
Uh huh.
where you gotta match some wedges to. Hold on, how can I say this? It's like you look through it and it's your eye that does the calculation. If you start seeing a marker on it, well, it's just the point where your exposure's at. It's like
I see. I see.
it's a really really weird concept, but and somewhat imprecise because it does rely on the eye. But
Uh huh.
I look at this and I go, man, somehow this is cool old tech, So
I think I have seen something like that once.
yeah,
Wondered how it worked.
yeah,
Okay, which way
because
does this fan go in now?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I do have a little bit of a collection of oddball exposure stuff and really
Cool.
old photo books and yeah.
Hmm.
One of the weirder ones I've got is they call it a photo almanac,
Mhm.
and
What's that?
it gives you the an exposure number for all the days of the year, and you just output this into some sort of rotary computer, and it tells you the exact exposure you got to use.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, it goes back to something like the 40s, or
Uh huh.
you know.
Sure. Sure. Maybe even before.
Well, the one I got is I think goes back to the 40s. I'd have to check the date on the cover, but it's one of those weird things. that just seems to work. So.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Let's put the thing
Yeah.
in without.
Failed power. Yeah. This
Well, I
one
thought
looks
it was
like
a
a
power supply.
failed power supply on this one.
No, although I did break the power supply looking for the problem. So, no, what was going on was I had a fan short, and I did not know that the ender can sense that, or the power supply can sense the short, and then it basically replicated a power supply failure problem. And so I dug the power supply out, and basically I came to taking all the components off of the motherboard and then replacing them one by one until I replicated the failure and realized that it was the cold end fan that was shorting the power supply. But by then I had cut open, I thought it was one of these XT60 power connectors, and so I had cut one of those off. And so then I needed to wait for not only a fan to come in the mail, but some new XT60 connectors unless I wanted to hardwire it. And so now I have to remount the power supply in here. But, it's getting there.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I've been fixing a different printer every single day. They just are not, they're good machines. They make good prints, and they're simple to fix, but they are not at the point where like a Canon bubble jet printer is, like every day one goes down.
Yeah, and when you look just at the number of settings in Cura, and you kind of see that the technology is not exactly,
not
works, but it's not up there yet. So.
Yeah. Hey, did you ask me about like some base settings in Cura or Repetier or Process Slicer, or have you figured that out? Okay.
No, but yeah, I've worked a little bit at the public library on. They got an Ender 3 Pro there. So, and I did a bit of testing and everything. So, when I had access to it. Now it's like 8 months. 9 months since it.
I haven't
Can you repeat that?
I said I haven't read a book since our library closed. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what Amazon is for.
Yeah. Actually, Laura bought a book. My girlfriend bought a book for the first time in years. We always because you can get all of the Albuquerque Public Library and some actually other library books just delivered to your local library, and we just walk down the block and get it. I've been trying not to collect books after moving a couple of times. Real pain in the butt.
Yeah. Because if you like ebooks, you can get a subscription to the archive.org public library.
Yeah, so we used to use that through Albuquerque Public Library. And there were a couple other ebook collections, but then my Kindle reader died, and I never bought another one. And now I just don't have the patience to read. I started getting 20 pages into a book, and then basically I just want to go look up how transistors work, or other work stuff.
Yeah, because I've never been a big novel reading fan, so usually like to learn stuff when I read something. So
I feel you.
Just watching slow cinema is it's like not really for me. Not a big fan of storytelling, so. Something for some people.
What was the best book you've read of late, or what was the last good book you read?
Last good book I read? Hold on, really, really good book. You want really, really good book, or good book, or?
Let's go really, really good.
Really, really good. Photography and Its Art by Julius Schulman. It's a Taschen book, and in it, the Julius Schulman, the architecture photographer guy, he tells his life story and a little bit of how he worked and it's like, man, unbelievable, and all the pictures are just jaw-droppingly good, and it's really, really, really interesting.
Andreas
I don't
told
know
me
if you,
to look this up.
yeah, I don't know if you're an architecture buff, but
Not entirely. A lot of my friends from college were architecture students. They lived in the apartment above me, and like I've been exposed to just a little bit of it through them. Actually, I have a friend who was like ostensibly an architect, but mainly just he like laser cuts and 3D prints stuff now. We talk still.
yeah, because all the pictures he took were mid-century modern, Southern California. Could say Palm Springs. Like
I see.
20s, 30s, 50s Palm Springs. It was like,
Yeah, I love it out there.
yeah, it's really, really nice. So, and they say he photographed the buildings like if they were Hollywood actresses. So
Interesting.
yeah, and
Technology.
he took lots of pictures with infrared film, and it's pretty fantastic. And they
Cool.
don't make buildings like that anymore. So
Yeah, I think mid-century modern architecture is something I really dig. Furniture too, but architecture is pretty good. I also would rather live in like just a warehouse than a regular house, so I appreciate it a little less. But I got to go to Taliesin once, and Falling Waters, pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, like this is the pilgrimage.
Yeah, yeah. So that style,
You
I
know,
guess.
yeah, but yeah, he
I would
took
have a
he took
brutalist house if I could.
You would what?
I would have a brutalist house, like a giant concrete warehouse.
Yeah,
That's my dream.
yeah, type of thing. Yeah, type of thing that few people really appreciate.
Hmm.
So well, yeah, we got quite a few of those. University was like that, all concrete and brick, and with not enough lighting, but you know,
Where'd
it
you go
was
to
still
university, Francois?
where I studied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I studied at Université du Québec in Montreal. It's essentially a government-run university.
Cool.
You could roughly put it that way because it was founded by the government, but now it's running you know as a totally separate entity now.
Hmm. So
But
you live in
yeah,
Montreal?
yeah. Well, I graduated 20 years ago, so.
Yeah.
But it's the big advantage of this university is that it's got its own metro station. So I take the bus from my home all the way to the metro station, take the ride, and then I'm already arrived there. So it cuts some
That's
time because all the other universities are like you got to take 2 buses, 3 metros, and it's like
great.
you know
Yeah. I was just
gets
in
to a point.
Montreal, like, I don't know, last summer, last fall, I guess. And we took the metro everywhere. I remember, like, McGill seemed pretty close to the metro. I mean, not
Yeah,
right.
but not when you live on the South Shore.
I see.
Yeah, because I live next to the airport on the South Shore, so it's like the they say it's the busiest airport in Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's it's a small airport. We got mostly like Learjets and Cessnas, and
Uh-huh.
but since the pandemic, it's pretty quiet. But you know
Huh. I live
some
right next to the Air Force Base, and since the pandemic, there's just been, like, nonstop giant helicopter traffic.
oh yeah. Yeah, here it's quiet. You don't hear a thing.
Yeah. So we're in my
You
shop.
know, so, Unbelievable. Yeah. 2 different countries, 2 different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss
So
Montana.
yeah.
Very nice up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I live in the city that's probably the aerospace technology capital of Canada, so.
Huh. Hang on, sounds like we have another visitor. Let's see who's here. Oh, Joe Van Cleve. You know Joe?
Yeah, I know. Joe used to be on Film Wasters.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. You
Hi.
need to kill the live stream so that you can hang out without a lag.
Yep.
And I'm going to make myself small. I'll be where Francois is. The redheaded photography club going on here. Joe, why is your video so squashed?
I don't know. It's my stupid dongle.
Cool.
It never happens on anything else, but and also I have the glitchy camera connection, but
Nice.
yeah, I don't know why that is. It just happens to be that way.
Uh-huh.
Man, there's still sunshine in New Mexico?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Man, here it's been dark for something like 2 hours.
so. Well, we're many hours, like we're 2 time zones past you, and then we're also way closer to the equator.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it always strikes me as weird, like here we get, the sun gets pretty dim in the sky at this time of year, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, what are you up to today?
Nothing actually. I have a interview with Austin Typewriter Inc. for their podcast tonight about 7 o'clock.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Still got a typewriter somewhere in the garden shed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an old Smith Corona portable.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of crazy because I picked it up in the trash.
Of course.
Well, that's how I get a lot of mine,
Yeah, yeah. I saw a briefcase next to the garbage bin, and I said, "What the heck's in there?" And yeah, it was a typewriter. Brought it home.
Yep.
Wasn't pretty good shape, so probably needs a little bit of oil, but
Yeah, mainly degreasing, right? Getting all the old greases and all that out of there.
Yeah, just like an old camera.
Yeah. Alcohol works pretty good for it.
Yeah.
Isopropyl alcohol and blow it out and get the old crud out.
Yeah, probably full of it, so.
Yep.
Hey, Joe, what are you up to tomorrow?
Nothing really that I know of.
I don't know why you were so echoey. You want to laser cut some stuff?
Sure.
Cool. I don't necessarily have a design that is ready, but we can go from design to cutting in like 2 minutes now.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Save as SVG.
SVG?
No.
Oh, no, I use DXFs to .RDs.
Yeah.
I need to convert some SVG graphics to a DXF so that I can make it into a .RG for an order I got today, but I can wait a day or two. Okay, now you guys want to see if I make sparks?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is maybe the best part of the stream all day.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no,
there's no electrocution tonight.
I still need to fix inside of a fan. I fixed the power supply, which I broke that was not broken while I was looking for the problem with the fan, but I still have not fixed the fan. Let's see. Joe, what do you think we should cut?
Let's make a camera of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an 8x10. We could do a 4x5 or something.
Yeah. You know what maybe we should do is start printing some furniture clamps. I don't have all of those great clamps that they have at QLab, but
That's true.
I've been thinking about laser cutting some furniture clamps.
That's actually a good idea.
The other
Put in
one,
camera.
I don't know if you know my buddy Ben, probably not because he's been having kids and is never around, but he was building a darkroom for his wife, and it made me think, like, maybe we could build an open source enlarger pretty quickly, particularly if we make the laser cut stand. Then, you know, keep the 3D printing to a bare minimum for a couple of the focusing racks. I don't know if that interests you or you got plenty of enlargers.
Well, yeah, I don't personally. I have all the enlarger stuff I need. I think.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
Yeah, they could have gone, instead of doing focusing racks and everything, they could have done a little bit like was it Bessler that came out in the 80s with well, it was a plastic thing where the easel was movable on some sort of peg system, you know, and it was really easy to and they had the helix focusing on it, so
Interesting.
instead of doing a rack and pinion, and it was pretty primitive, but it was quite innovative. So can't remember the name of the thing.
I think I can. I mean, I have printed racks and pinions. I think I can even laser cut some rack and pinion stuff. The annoying part is, like, how do you make a bellows without having to actually make a bellows, right? Like, bellows making
Sliding
long sliding boxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sliding tubes. There was a hold on. I got in an old book. There was there was an enlarger that had some sliding tubes, and you know, like you could take go to the hardware store, take some PVC and or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or take some PVC and a flange for the main part, and just either print lance holder part or something. You know.
Yeah, if I can get away with not using PVC and not keeping PVC in stock, even if it's a little more annoying, and just print it. You know, I've printed a lot of, like,
Yeah, well, I was thinking of going to the plumbing department to get a already pre-made PVC tube and using PLA as for holding the lance.
That's smart.
You know. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all the same kind of plastic, so.
Joe, maybe tomorrow is a good day to build 2 cameras, which is a 4x5 and 8x10 pinhole camera, right? That seems like something we could bang out in a day that could be a product. And
Sure.
then also, I still have over here, although I can't reach it because of the pile of boxes in front of it now that needs to go to the recycling, is your Event camera.
Oh yes, yes.
I thought I was done soldering earlier. Forgot about the main problem here. Joe, is this painful to tune into a stream of analog electronics repair?
Not really. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's more interesting when it makes sparks, or if it starts making that magical blue smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It reminds me of the time when I had one of those big CRT monitors that sort of decided that it would make smoke and sparks and everything. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was lucky that I didn't burn down the house with that one.
Yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I was just coming back from supper, and I was hearing that kind of sound, and it was like, oh crap, what the heck's going on? And the smell was just like, ugh. Okay.
Hey Joe,
Yeah.
at the TV repair place, did you ever see people bring in like completely burnt up TVs, or they didn't bother at that point?
Yeah, yeah. The thing was, the common was lightning strikes in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Their house would get hit by lightning, and they'd have to bring their TV in or VCR in to see if they could get it fixed. And sometimes it wasn't worth fixing. You know, it was just too far gone.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they probably didn't have a proper grounding around the house. So.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, some of these lightning strikes were so violent that it really didn't matter how good your grounding was. We
Yeah.
had a guy that lived somewhere on in his property outside of town, like between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and he would get lightning strikes about every year. And the only way that he could fix this was he had to hire an electrical engineer, and they recommended that he um,
Move?
move or put four tall towers on the four corners of his property and put a mesh of cables over his house and ground them.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
boy.
think we're like second in the country behind Florida for lightning deaths here in New Mexico because we have a lot of. It's a dry climate, so electrical charges can build up really heavily between the earth and the sky.
You know, when we have
Yeah.
lightning strikes, Joe, I unplug everything in the shop.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Especially with all that stuff running. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
I was
you,
in college, and our apartment building got hit by lightning, and everybody in my line, right, like I was in 2C or whatever, like 1C, 2C, 3C, 4C, everybody had to get a new NIC card on their computer. And unfortunately, my NIC card was integrated into my laptop motherboard, and that computer was just like not worth fixing. It was done. Ever since then, when there's
yeah.
lightning, you know, I had a surge protector. I didn't have like a UPC or anything. But,
Yeah. When you get so much juice going through the wire, I don't think there's much of a surge protector that can stop stuff like that.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Like I saw a picture today. Some guy I don't know where. The guy had a Mercedes Benz and it got hit by positive lightning and melted the part of the windshield, part of the hood, part of the engine block. You know, so he said, "I thought cars couldn't get hit by lightning." Well, surprise, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So are you assembling one of your new printers, Ethan, or fixing an old one?
Fixing an old one. I have assembled all of the new printers now. So this is printer number 21. It's coming up back online. But I ran out of high temperature tubing, so two of them will have to wait for half a week before they can start printing. But I'm running off a lot of things. I mean, the Mongoose housings are going to be made way before I get all of the electrical components. But next week I should be able to start assembling the film gates, motors, motor spindles, and cog systems, which is like the big time suck, is like the mechanical system in the Mongoose. The electrical stuff, I think, you know, in 2 or 3 days I could solder everything.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's just hubris on my part. Maybe I will find another painful experience somewhere, you know?
Yeah. You ever thought of giving them names instead of numbers?
Yeah, so I used to have, like, my first 4 printers were Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael.
Yeah.
And then I had Barbie and Ken. Those all were, you know, homemade printers. And then I have Joseph, which is the first Prusa I have. And then there's an unnamed Prusa clone. I don't know how you would say Joseph in Mandarin is probably a good one. And then the Enders, I have 13 of them, so I just keep them by number. It's kind of getting to the point where silly names are tough.
Yeah, gets pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, now we can see the blue smoke.
Ooh.
Maybe,
Giving
hopefully.
them numbers reminds me of the old Prisoner TV series.
I don't know this.
Yeah, it was made in Britain, and it's the story of some sort of secret agent that can never leave a village, and it's pretty well made actually. Was made in the '60s, so you get all that funky '60s stuff, and you know.
Interesting. I gotta look this up now. Fan is running. 3.
There's something on the controller.
Okay. I dubbed this printer fixed. Preheat. Okay. Cool. That is about everything that I needed to do today. Here, I'll show you guys this crazy laser. Take the webcam off. How am I going to do this? It actually doesn't look that big until I stand behind it. But,
No, it is big.
Yeah, for reference, you over here, like, these doors over here, Joe knows how big they are. They let a car in. And so, like...
Well, their standard doors, probably 32-inch each, so...
No, they're car doors, right? The barn
For a
doors.
garage door. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
8 feet.
40 inches a piece or something.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you brought this all in by yourself?
Well, so I had the help of the UPS freight guy. Helped me bring it to the doors with the pallet jack. And I had $100 in cash, just so I could like try and convince him to do it. And he was like, "I gotta go." Like, there's no convincing. And so he left me, and I started using a pickle fork to break the crate open. And then Joe lent me. This is Joe's giant.
Yeah, I got one like this for putting on the winter tires.
Yep. So I had 2 of those, and I was trying to move it. I finally busted the crate off. Joe will see it. It's all over my backyard. I haven't cleaned it up yet. Anyway, I get the crate off of it, and it's still sitting on like a steel welded pallet. And I didn't know what to do. I was like calling forklift companies, and I walked in front, and there was the UPS driver still there 40 minutes later. And I said, "No, dude, I thought you had to go." And he said, "Oh yeah, I broke down. The lift gate won't work now," because he had used it on this laser. And I said, "Okay, can I borrow your pallet jack?" And he said, "Sure." And so I came back here and I used the pallet jack and just got it up and into the shop. And then it's enough that, like, I mean, I wouldn't do it now with the tube installed because it's a $1,200 piece of very fragile glass that's 5 feet long. But I can kind of like really throw my weight into it and kind of walk it like a refrigerator. It's a very heavy refrigerator.
Well,
yeah, it's been good. I finally figured out how to offload files, and then I immediately broke my USB cable. So, I can print off of a USB drive. Let's see who we got here. Colin. I don't know Colin, but let's see who we got. Hello, Colin. Hey, Colin, are you?
He scores!
Colin, are you playing a sports game?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Are we getting Google bombed?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. We'll give him a minute.
Maybe it's something.
On his sound.
Maybe it's something like what those sportscasters were doing at the start of the pandemic. You know, like sportscasting everyday stupid things. You know, like and he walks over to the mailbox. He opens it, and he scores. You know, something like that.
I like that. It sounds like a sport I could get into.
Yeah, yeah. The guys were doing this, and I thought it was just plain hilarious. You know, so
Yeah.
kind of.
So, Ethan, what kind of laser tube is it? A carbon dioxide laser?
Yes, it is a CO2 laser. It's
Yeah.
either a RECI Ricci laser or it is a Chinese knockoff that is a very good printing job on the branding, which I think is more likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really wild.
Yeah. Sometimes those Chinese are pretty surprisingly good, actually.
I mean, the whole machine is Chinese and it's great. I mean, everything in this shop is Chinese, but you know, I'm not always convinced that like name brand stuff is name brand. But then again, I didn't pay for it, so I mean, I did pay for it, but whatever. I wasn't expecting a name brand tube. But the controller is really excellent. It's got like a little color display. It will calculate working times for the actual machine. Talks to my computer great. The tube is really wild. Like, you can't really see the tube without moving the machine down in QLab, but Joe, you probably have these things at work. It's a 5-foot long laser tube, right? And then outside of that tube, there's a bigger air gap tube with like curlicue water tubes through it, and it's all clear so you can see the water.
So that's the coolant for the tube, yeah. Yeah, the lasers we have at work for the lithography machines are YAG lasers. Yttrium, argon, something else, gas lasers, and it's a toxic, very highly toxic gas blend, and those are in their own environment down in the subfab, temperature controlled, and the exhaust from the lasers is scrubbed.
I see.
Those make like 193 nanometer ultraviolet light. So.
Oh, that'll burn something.
Yeah. That's basically the photographic reducer. It's the opposite of an enlarger.
Yeah.
You want to think about it that a large positive image and on a plate of quartz with chromium lines, and they shrink that down to the size of each individual circuit, each individual chip on the wafer, and
well, that's circuit board manufacturing, not circuit board, but chip manufacturing.
Yeah, that's where I work. I work in a chip fab.
Yeah, because they were showing. I saw something one time about the new machines that they got that dropped the size down to 3 nanometers or something like this. You know, the latest ones with where they use a two-time laser to vaporize a little drop of tin or something like
liquid, that. They liquefy tin and they zap it with a 193 nanometer YAG laser in a vacuum chamber, and that vaporizes and releases 10 nanometer light, deep UV light. Yeah.
So nutty.
And then they use a multiple series of front surface mirrors, like complex curve, like hyperbolic, and all that curved.
Oh my God, Joe!
Relay the light to the wafer because
I spent 9 hours.
At those
glass won't refract that short of a wavelength. You know.
Yeah.
I spent 9 hours the other day aligning the front surface mirrors in this damn machine.
Oh, did you? Really?
Yeah, it would have been nice if you were here to help.
I would have been fine, yeah.
Even without expertise, because what happens is you have to pulse the laser, and then you have to like go back to where you can reach the set screws for the mirrors. And the geometry of this thing is like, I would come around the front, pulse the mirror, then I would leave the shop through the normal door, and then I would come around through the outside doors, make a quarter turn on one of the 3 set screws, and I just repeated this process for hours and hours. It was terrible.
I hope you were safe with your eyes.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't think it had an interlock, but it does. I never fire it without all the covers on.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh well.
Well, it'll be fun having the laser cutter available and being able to make some cool projects with it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I mean, I think it opens up a lot of new products for you, really. You know.
It does. It does. So I have a lot of acrylic here. Do you have any like 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch ply?
I have a few scraps of maybe 1/8 inch, like small little tiny pieces in my little bin of used stuff. I
Maybe
don't
I'll
think
make
I have any big pieces.
okay. Maybe I'll make a run in the morning and go pick up a bunch of 4x8 1/8 inch plywood to make some cameras tomorrow. Actually, pick up some acrylic for another order. So, how about I'll give you a text when I'm headed back to my house.
Okay, that sounds good. And do we do spam and eggs?
If you are into it a little later, but I also
No.
pancake making stuff if you're into
Oh,
it.
that's even better. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Pancake making skills. Ooh.
Yeah, my pancake making skills are medium at best, but you know.
So
the pancake eating skills are better, probably.
well, so
Definitely.
Ethan and I got in the habit this last year of having a breakfast with fried spam and eggs. And
Oh,
the thing about spam is it's really salty, right? It's a little
Yeah.
more salty than I like. But I was actually telling my wife this the other day that I think if you put ketchup on it, it would be because the sugar in the ketchup is it's sweet, right?
yeah.
It would kind of compensate for the excessive saltiness of it.
Yuck.
And that makes it sound like even like a more of an American dish, right? It's putting
Yeah.
ketchup on spam.
Yeah. Actually,
You can
I would have been
pancake
tempted to put some mustard.
Yeah,
on spam.
mustard might be good too. And the
Yeah,
nice thing about
because
mustard,
mustard and ham fit in together
yeah,
really
that's
well.
true.
So
Yeah, the thing about mustard is you don't have the sugar, the calories from the sugar.
yeah.
So
Are you worried about the tomato calories now?
yeah, I'm worried about. Yeah, I'm reducing my ketchup intake. No, not really.
Funny.
Yeah, I don't do anything about my diet really. But anyways.
Yeah.
I'm on a high everything diet.
I was going to tell you, Ethan, you asked me what I did earlier. I actually just drove around town. I had a camera with me, just a digital camera, and I didn't know if I was going to shoot video or stills, but I ended up over at Arroyo del Oso Park, which is over by like Wyoming and Osuna. And
Yeah, I know.
it's in my general part of town, but I've never really visited that in a long time. And they have a radio-controlled model airplane flying field over there.
Oh, cool.
And the guys were, and it's all electric, right? And they were flying like airplanes, electric sailplanes, and drones. And it was kind of fun to watch them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go out there with a big ass camera one day.
Oh yeah, it would be a lot of fun. Yeah. So I spent a few hours out there, had a lot of good time. And I found where the arroyo goes through, there's actually some water in it, right? And there's a wide area next to the golf course that's just like sagebrush and sand. And I found a cross. Someone put a memorial for somebody in this desert-like area. And I took a photo and put it on my Flickr today from that cross. But it was pretty cool. It's one of those mementos, with all kinds of decorations on the cross. And, people hang little like necklaces and put pictures on it or something. So I don't know who it was that died, or if they died down in the arroyo next to the golf course. I don't know. But that's kind of a common thing right here in the Southwest is those roadside memorials. What do they call them? There's a Spanish name for them.
There's one in town at a bike crossing, and they put a ghost bike there. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ghost bike memorials are kind of like memorials of shame, because the fact that we have to have ghost bike memorials just tells you how bad our community is about, the relationship between drivers and bicyclists,
Yeah, I more or less stopped riding when I came here.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that at that place they got the city installed some solar crossing lights and with pretty powerful strobes, but nobody that crosses the street dares push the button like if they were going to get electrocuted or something. So,
Well, a lot
well,
of
it's
the
the
street
city
people,
that put it up, so
yeah, yeah,
you gotta.
yeah. A lot of the street people, though, don't really adhere to traffic laws, anyways, right? They're kind of a lot of them don't drive, first of all,
Yep.
so they don't really understand the whole thing about drivers and what limitations there are on your visibility.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin, though, is like if you see the way the city deals with repaving projects, it's like when they did Nob Hill, right, for this art project, uh, they got rid of all the crosswalks that they used to be able to cross at every block, and
Oh
and they
crap.
and they expect a pedestrian to walk a quarter of a mile down to the next major light to cross, and then walk back up, which is
Yeah.
okay for a car, but not for a pedestrian.
Yeah.
It's not really efficient, right?
Yeah.
You
In
know.
town planning, we say that most people need a place to rest every 500 meters.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
about
yeah, exactly, yeah.
1/8 of a mile.
For a while, yeah. So, like even up in my part of town, we used to have on this Comanche Boulevard used to be just these wide dirt medians between the both sides, and it was easy for a pedestrian to cross over because you had a wide place to stand. It was safe out of the traffic. And now they redecorated it with like landscaping, and they made these really narrow medians where there's no place to stand for a pedestrian. So they didn't really account for pedestrians at all when they
Well,
redo these projects.
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I look at cities and I'm starting to wonder how the heck do they you know design them anymore? So.
Well, it seems like
It,
they're trying to program pedestrian traffic like you would car traffic, and
yeah, and you.
that's not how pedestrians walk. You
Yeah.
know.
Here they got they got the probably the perfect solution. They put fences in the median.
Yeah, they keep you from crossing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they do that actually around like the high schools.
Yep.
Like there's Sandia High School is on a major artery, and the kids used to just run across the street, and you'd have like a whole 100 yards, 100 meters of kids crossing, and so they just put a fence up so there's only one place they can cross that crosswalk.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Here they do
Hey
this
guys,
pretty much everywhere across the city. So.
yeah.
I am now an hour late to making our dinner.
Okay, well you're in
I'm
trouble
gonna
now.
go. Yeah, Joe, I will send you a text
Okay,
when I'm coming back with stuff
okay,
to cut.
very good.
Thanks, Laura. I
And
hope
Francois,
you
it was
see
nice
you
talking
soon.
with you.
Yeah. Thanks. Nice for dropping.
Thank you. Thanks, Ethan. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye, guys.
I'm
And
gonna go get some